Today I talked to someone that I know in the neighborhood, and we began talking about the birds falling from the sky. He told me that today he saw a huge flock of blackbirds come into the area, act very confused, circle around, try to land, but then they left immediately, kept circling, like they didn't know where they were going or what they were doing. And I said, well, I've seen them do that. I don't know if it's the same birds, but I've seen them do that in the past couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4 times. Hundreds of these blackbirds come into the area. They try to land on the trees, then they take off. Then they circle around, try and land on the trees, and they take off over and over. They go up, they go down. It's just not making any sense. And so this person said to me today, he said, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. When the winter is so severe, he said, birds usually migrate a lot earlier and they don't, really hang around in mass in the cold areas. So we talked about it and talked about the latest archaeological discoveries, and we were talking about, he was telling me about giants, 30, 40, 50 feet tall, the remains of these huge giants that have been found, but we were in a hurry, so we didn't go into detail about that. But I just came across this post that someone put up on surfingtheapocalypse.net. And this is a good site to go to. You can learn a lot of interesting things. And this person is talking about Benjamin Fulford. I don't know if you know about him, but he's in the know over there in Japan. And he puts out weekly messages. I guess you have to have a subscription on his site. And he discusses different topics, and he's discussing the possibility in this latest weekly message that there are malevolent machine-like intelligences involved in the current state of world affairs. He said these may be connected to Satanist and or the Federal Reserve. He believes it's also possible that such entities have always existed in a parallel plane of reality as electromagnetic beings. He mentions various evidence for these ideas. He even states that he has been contacted telepathically by such entities who have given him verifiable information. And then he says, I would just like to say that these things sound very much like end-time scenarios involving the Antichrist and the thinning of the veil between the mundane and the demonic. I think these die-offs are also related to the thinning of the veil. Many mystics have sensed we are entering an era when the fabric of reality becomes strained, like a Philip K. Dick novel, while a new world struggles to emerge. I've noticed a personal indication of this. I've always had tinnitus of a sort, which is in the forming of a high-pitched keening which never goes away. And I read this, and I have the same condition. So he goes on to say, it has bothered me since I've always had the feeling that it is a spiritual shield of some sort protecting me from psychic intrusions. But lately, in the last couple of weeks, it has become much louder and much more metallic in sound, as if psychic stresses in the world have increased dramatically. I have not noticed any particular health changes that would account for this change, like a cold or anything. I wonder if anyone else has experienced something like this. Boy, I sure have. That really describes me to a T. I sure have. The ringing in my ears, especially My left ear has increased and it has a very metallic sound. So I don't know what's going on. I know that the time we're entering into is really going to be something else, and the mass extinctions have already started. I talked about that in another video, and there is just no telling. I think it's going to be wide open. People are going to start rebelling, questioning authority, discovering a different reality. There's going to be anger. They're tired of being pushed. They're going to start pushing back. But that's for another video I'm going to make. I'll put a link up to this in case you want to go to surfingtheapocalypse.net and check it out. They've got some really great threads on the animal die-offs. And from what I noticed, I guess the bats are dying off too.